It is likely that the Egyptians do possess the ability to strike and blow up the GERD if they ever decide to do it. A successful strike would destroy the dam and free up the waters to flow back up to Egypt into Lake Nasser behind their Aswan High Dam, relieving the country of its hypothetical drought-like conditions during this desperate potential scenario. But obviously, this action would be interpreted as a major act of war in Ethiopia, and the Egyptians could expect massive retaliation coming from Addis Ababa and her allies. A $5 billion dam would be destroyed, along with more than a decade's worth of work on Ethiopia's part, and their bright future of bringing electricity access to half of their country would be lying in ruins. Not to mention however many Ethiopians may be killed during such an attack. And internationally, an Egyptian bombing campaign carried out on Ethiopian soil would be almost inevitably interpreted as a major act of aggression, and Egypt would stand to be cast as a warmongering pariah state. Punitive international financial sanctions on Egypt could most likely be expected, while war with 120 million Ethiopians would be almost guaranteed. Sure enough, the president of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, threatened as much back in 2019, when he said that he would be prepared to mobilize millions of men to fight Egypt over the GERD's future. So, while the strike may alleviate Egypt's drought in the immediate sense, Egypt's long-term prospects of continuing to function would probably end up looking a lot worse. War and sanctions are expensive to maintain for any country, and crippling for a country like Egypt that is already racked with internal demographic and resource issues. But a country who's pressed into a corner by something perceived as an existential threat is a country that is more willing to gamble and take massive risks in order to get out of that corner. And many people have already predicted that sooner or later, the time will come for Egypt to make this dangerous choice or not.
It's a very dangerous situation because Egypt is not going to be able to live that way. And they'll end up blowing up the dam. And I said it, and I say it loud and clear. They'll blow up that dam. And they have to do something. Because they could have stopped it. They should have stopped it long before it was started. I said, how do you let it get built and then you say they have a dam?
في النهاية أنا بقول لكم تاني وبقول للأشقاء في أثيوبيا بلاش إن إحنا نصل لمرحلة إنك أنت تمس نقطة مية من مصر. لأن الخيارات كلها مفتوحة.
And while all options may indeed be open in Cairo, including a military first strike, the risks are so far not worth the probable outcome. But with little ability to influence Ethiopia's unilateral willingness to continue filling up the dam's reservoir, Ethiopia has been setting a precedent for damming the Nile without any negotiations with any of its neighbors.